Okay guys, so here we are in part 2 of the highlights video of BRKC 2023, and this is our qualifying lap for our third heat, and we're starting okay here, happy with the hairpins there. We're taking a much wider entry into this one today, and as we brake there for the hairpin, we just completely mess it up, as you saw by the shake of the head. That's probably shafted our entire qualifying lap. And that wasn't too bad coming into the corner. I'd been struggling with a lot, the hairpin at the end of the straight there. But just that one moment, missing the brakes, and you can see how bad it's going to be when we qualify P9, shake of the head. Not impressed. There was a couple of guys in this heat, two in front of me, that weren't as fast as me. So I was disappointed to qualify P9, to be honest, so I'm going to have to make up lots of places in the heat itself. So as you can imagine, after that poor qualifying, I want to be making places as quickly as I can. So I'm signalling to the guy in front that we need to be going fast, straight on the tail of the guy in front, and he just slows up coming into that corner, and I nudge the back of him, and that's obviously going to trigger a false start. Yeah, I mean, you might think I'm a bit of a dickhead for pushing along. As I say to the marshal there, it's like if he stops and slows down, then obviously I'm going to hit him. We're running bumper to bumper, and yeah, he's leaving far too much space to the guy in front. I mean, this is just rolling starts, isn't it? You want to be, it's not bad to push the guy in front along, right? We all want to be as close to the guy in front as possible. Your opinion on it might be different, I guess, but we get a restart, and he is much closer this time, and I'm a little bit more cautious as well. But then he stops there again. It's just, and again there, he's just easing up so much in comparison to the guy in front, and unfortunately that creates gap for both of us, and we catch most of that straight back up. Coming round this second hairpin here, I think about setting up the inside like Mackenzie Jones did on me, but I go too wide and I don't have enough overspeed, and I actually lose out going around this sweeping right-hander. But then he just locks up, clips the barrier. I know I'm much faster than him. I have to get past him right now, otherwise I'm not making any ground in this race. I decide very early I'm going for it. He brakes a lot later than I expect. I try to leave him space to come through, but he slots back in behind me, and that was clumsy, that was stupid, but I had to do it. I obviously get a bad pass flag many times, as you'll see in this little montage, the marshal showing the bad pass flag to me over the course of the next 3 laps. But to be honest, I acknowledge it this time. I was much faster than him, and I'd already gained so much time in comparison. You see I get a black flag eventually for ignoring the bad pass, but I lost less time. As you'll see, I'm currently 8th. Coming in, so my black flag, confirming that with the marshal, that the black flag is just an extra pit stop, and yeah, in comparison to if I'd have slowed up and let the guy back through, I'd have lost way more time. I've come out in 8th, and we jumped forward late in the race now. Not much happened. In all truth, it was a pretty lonely race after that point. I was too far from 7th after the penalty pit stop, and too much faster than the 9th and 10th to be caught. So it was a pretty lonely race, this one. Second stop was all good, and other than a long stoppage for a red flag, there wasn't really too much going on in this heat. Yeah, I finished P8 in the end, and yeah. Okay guys, so yeah, that was heat 3, and it was interesting, as you saw. Yeah, quali, I just absolutely messed up that hairpin, and that put me way down in 9th. Definitely shouldn't have been that far down, but that's why quali is so important. You have to not mess up that lap, and I did, and that put me in a bad spot. And then coming through the snake, the guy in front was being far too cautious. You probably saw I ended up causing a restart, and there was a lot of contact there. Obviously normally I would avoid contact at all means, but in that snake you've got to push the car in front, because if you don't, you lose so much time, especially at the back of the grid, the way the track's laid out.
you drop back a couple of kart lengths if you don't stay right on their tail. And so I was eager, because I knew I was faster than the two in front, so I was eager to get those guys as soon as possible. Obviously I took a gamble on the move. I was too far back when it came to it, but I committed to it before I was on the straight, coming around the large sweeping left-hander. I had overspeed, and I basically committed to the move then. I decided that was the lap that was happening. And yeah, the brake, and it just brakes late enough. If he'd have braked any earlier, I'd have just shot up the inside, but he braked late enough to mess me up. And so that wasn't great. Obviously they showed me the bad pass flag. They gave me a chance to give it back. It's going to sound a bit naughty, but actually, to be honest, at that point I created such a gap and I was far enough ahead that the loss of like 10.5 seconds, 11 seconds in the pits, I decided that I was fast enough to get far enough ahead to make that not matter. Whereas if I'd have slowed down, let him back past, I could have let 10th past as well, and then I got past 2 karts. 11 seconds in the pit stop is going to cost me less than waiting for those guys to catch up and then passing them back. So we took a kind of tactical foul there, got the black flag, came in and did that penalty straight away. I wasn't sure if a black flag was actually just do a pit stop again. I was pretty sure that's what the rule said, but there is a lot of rules for this, and so that was punishing. I probably could have got 7th in that race if I'd have qualied better, and therefore not had to make such a gamble on the overtake. But it happens. We're at top level of racing. I made one little mistake, it cost me big. You see what it is. But yeah, I took 8th, so I'm on 2 7ths and an 8th now. I'll take that at this point, to be honest. If you'd have given me that at the start of the weekend, I'd have been over the moon with it. So we got one more heat left at 1 PM. It is still about -5 degrees here in Milton Keynes, so it is cold. Halfway through that race my hands went numb. Even though it's physical and you're getting quite a workout, you still get damn cold on your hands and feet. But yeah, we'll see you for heat 4 and see how we get on in that one.
Okay then guys, heat 4, the last heat of my BRKC 2023 experience. We are back on the normal layout. For some reason that guy decides that he wants to overtake me on the outlap. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to stay in your order and just create your own space that way, but he's decided he wants to overtake me and take all that space I've left to the guy in front. But whatever, it's all good, isn't it? So yeah, we're gonna come around the last sector ready. Got to get this last sector right to set up the start of our flying lap. And here we go onto the flying laps. This is the first time we've raced this layout again since round 1, about 24 hours previous. And obviously we've had 2 races on alternate layouts since, so the first couple of times around here was a bit of a trying to remember what corners come in next, make sure you're on the right section of the track. But lap feels alright so far. Coming into the this long left-hander at the end of the lap, I couldn't get that one right all weekend, but that was alright. Coming out the final corner across the line, and see we do a 31.4, which I don't think was too bad. I was happy with the lap, it felt alright. But as we see on the display, I'm tumbling down the order as we come onto the straight, the rolling start. So I'm starting P10. This was my hardest heat of the weekend, it turned out. After there was just no slow drivers in this one. Not anybody was slow, but there was just no really slow off the pace drivers in this one. Yeah, and the start, lost a bit at the start, as you always do at the back, and then snail going round. And yeah, I'm happy with the pace throughout this heat, to be honest. I lose a bit there coming out of that left hairpin, but we're going to gain it back on the back straight by the looks of it. He takes a look over his shoulder, and yeah, we catch up quite a bit. That was a theme of this race. I was losing a little bit in the snail and then catching up a lot at the end of that straight. I seemed to be comfortable in that corner in this heat, whereas I'd struggled the rest of the weekend, and the guy in front seemed to be really struggling with it, as we're going to see in this little montage. We've jumped forward probably about 3/4 of the race at this point, to be honest. No, about half the race, because it was just 10 minutes or so of us 3 on a very similar pace, not being able to overtake but not losing any ground. I drop back every now and again, but then catch back up, because as we see going into this last corner, this guy in front just kept sliding and locking up, but not enough that I could get around the outside, and then it just compromised my line. And I'm starting to think at this point that I probably need to start thinking about pitting to get around him, because as we saw there, I've caught up like 2 or 3 kart lengths in that braking zone alone. But then I lose it all again because of the compromised line. We see I'm right on his tail here, and then he slides once again and forces me to go wide, and I'm just losing loads of time here. So I'm like, that's it, pit time. And so in the pits we come. First gate, green light, there we go. It feels like an age that you're waiting, doesn't it? And then second gate, red light, green light, away we go. Nice clean stop, didn't mess up a single stop all weekend. Well happy with that. That was aim number 1, not to mess up any pit stops. And yeah, we're going to jump ahead now and experience the life as a back marker, as Seb is coming up onto us. He's leading the race, so I'm pointing him through, and yeah, pointing through there, and through he goes. And yeah, did that losing minimal time, which is the key. If you can let them through on that wide snail section, you can keep full throttle, and you lose a bit of time and a bit of traction, but you don't lose as much time as if they catch you in the inner snail here, like this guy that I've been battling all race got caught by Seb on the inner snail, and that's compromised him quite a bit. Unfortunately, I can't take advantage because second place and third place have caught up on me, and that's Sean Brierley, reigning champion, just coming through ready to try and take another championship, but I'm not in that race, so we just let those guys through with minimal fuss to them and minimal loss to us. Again, around the outside of that sweeping snail shell, we see the guy in front, he gets caught in the middle section, and for some reason after second and third go through, he doesn't jump back across. I must be close enough to them that he thinks that I'm in 4th place essentially, and he just sits there and lets me through. I couldn't believe it. Here we go again, Seb has caught me up once again late in the race, and yeah, those top 3 were absolutely flying. But once again, he's caught us in the convenient position where we can just let him through, and we jump ahead to the end of the race here. We see Seb take the checkered flag and the sparks, and yeah, P9, that was my toughest race of the weekend. I reckon I drove the best I drove all weekend in that race, and I got my worst result of the weekend. It's typical, isn't it? But that was a great fun race. There was lots of close competition all the way through, with the 2 guys in front. I felt like I had the speed on both of them, but I couldn't get through. Tried to do it in the pits, couldn't quite get it done. In the end, I had to rely on the blue flags and a bit of luck, but that's what motorsport is sometimes, isn't it? But what a fantastic weekend. I'll jump into the post Heat 4 outro now. Okay guys, so that was Heat 4. As you saw, not the best qualified P10. I was surprised by that when I saw it. The lap didn't feel terrible, but such is the level of competition here that if you don't put in a perfect lap, then you're at the back. And yeah, that's what it was. And in the race early, I felt I was faster than the 2 in front, but I didn't want to pit too early and then get blue flagged mid-race and lose more time out to the 2 in front, because they were my battle really. But yeah, enjoyed that battle. That was a good battle. I did eventually decide to pit to try and clear them, and unfortunately I came out still in 10th. The guy came out in front of me, well, net 10th. I think I was higher up than that because of other pit stops and stuff, but yeah, they came out net 10th. And yeah, fortunately though, when the back markers were coming through, he got out of the way for them, very wide and very slow, and then didn't get back across in front of me, and I followed second and third through to take 9th place. So I didn't even have to fight for it in the end, which was quite nice. But yeah, it's probably the best I've driven all weekend. I feel like I was driving the best I have, and on the pace the best I have been, and it resulted in my worst result. So that happens sometimes. The competition is so tight, it's so tough, everybody's so fast. As I said earlier in the weekend, everybody's a champion of something here, and it's my first experience. 2 7ths, an 8th and 9th. I'm happy with that. I wanted top 75 before I came here,
Then when I got here and realised just how tough it was, I revised that to just top 90, basically. Didn't want to be in that bottom 10%. I was 75th before the last round. We'll find out what my final result was later on this evening, because there's still a handful of heats to go. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm tired at this point. Long weekend, a lot of driving, a lot of racing, and that was just constant battle from the very start. That was 20 minutes of constant, as fast as you can laps, battling the whole way. So that was a good race. I enjoyed that one, and I've had a fantastic time. We'll do a proper outro once I know my results later. But yeah, another great race, another fantastically run race. The whole event has been, and yeah, we'll be back in a bit with an update on how I finished up. Hopefully it's in the top 75.
Okay guys, so that concludes the highlights of the British Rental Karting Championship 2023. My first ever entry, and the level of organisation, the quality, the presentation were all second to none. SRK do a fantastic job, the events are fantastic, but this event was just next level. All the stream, the presenters, all the setup, the marshalling, all the race control and everything was absolutely top notch. If you're looking to compete in the highest level of indoor karting motorsport you can in this country, definitely enter this. It was a fantastic experience. I've only been karting since mid-2020, so I'm not massively experienced, or mid-21, sorry, even, I believe. I can't even remember at this point. But yeah, I'm not very experienced. Some of these guys have been karting for decades, but they were all so welcoming. Sam Slater especially took time to sit down with myself and Mark on Friday night or Thursday night. It's all a blur at this point, to be honest. But yeah, Sam took like 45 minutes to sit down with us and just go through our footage of some of our practice sessions and give us tips, and that helped me so much. My times improved so much over the weekend. I got down to a 30.4 as my fastest, I believe, for the weekend. And when I arrived on Thursday, I was doing like 31.5s, and I was like over a second off the pace. So to be within half a second of the fastest laps or so was fantastic at the end. And yeah, it's just such a good competition. I learned so much. I can't wait to come back next year. I finished 81st in the end. The 9th place in the last heat costing me, and also the bad quali in heat 3 costing me a couple of places, also hurt. But I'll take it, to be honest. After seeing the level of competition there, I will take being 81st out of 100. It's not quite the 75th I set myself, but I'm happy. I had a great time. I learned so much, and I'm so hyped for it. It's a couple of weeks out now from it, where I'm finally doing this video, and I'm still buzzing. I still can't wait to go back next year. Fantastic event, fantastic organisation, fantastic venue. Shout out to all the marshals, all the staff, everybody behind the counter. They were working all weekend. It was the same group of staff from Thursday all the way through till Sunday. They were there 12, 14 hours, whatever it was, entire day, 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. sort of thing. So shout out to all of those guys and ladies. That was a hell of an effort, and also cheerful and happy to help, even right up until the end Sunday evening. So yeah, shout out to Formula Fast. Definitely visit those guys if you fancy doing some karting, and definitely consider entering BRKC 2024 if you're interested in competitive karting. I can't rate it highly enough. And yeah, that's it for this one. So we will see you in the next one.